In my previous reports, I've told you about many incentives Tesla has provided, but I didn't tell you how well these incentives work. So Tesla has authorized locations in North America to start selling display and test drive vehicles as it aims to close out a record quarter despite the noise, Electrek reports today. So over the last few weeks, as I said, including yesterday, here at torquenews.com, I've reported on a lot of incentives Tesla has put in place to sell cars this quarter to make it a record quarter. But I haven't reported how well these incentives are working, and we learned something about them today, this morning, which I'm bringing to your attention. The question now is, can Tesla make about 420,000 electric vehicle deliveries by the end of the month for the quarter 2022? So stay with me to know about this. Friends, Tesla started offering a $3,750 discount to buyers for everyone taking delivery of a vehicle in the US in December. That was, I think, one first incentive. Later, Tesla also started to offer 10,000 free supercharging miles to people taking delivery this month. That was the second incentive. Earlier this week, Tesla increased the amount of the discount to $7,500, equivalent to the federal full tax credit for electric vehicles that will be put in place for vehicles getting delivered next month in the United States. So Tesla further sweetened the deal. However, I didn't report on how well these incentives have been working for Tesla. Now, this morning, Electrek has learned that Tesla's inventories are getting low in the United States as the incentive program was successful. Tesla barely has any Model 3 vehicles available in the Bay Area, according to Electrek. It has some Model Ys. The automaker literally has a single Model 3 listed for the Los Angeles area and less than 2,000 Model Y vehicles. Tesla reported still has a few dozen Model 3 vehicles around New York City, reportedly, and a handful of Model Y vehicles. Florida also still has some inventory. Electrek probably got this information from the Tesla service centers. But most markets are starting to run low on inventory following the rare discount program put in place by Tesla. There are more cars coming off the line in Fremont and Texas for the US market, but many of them are already spoken for. So this morning, Electrek has learned that Tesla started to authorize the sale of display and test ride vehicles in several markets in the United States, according to sources familiar with the matter. I will have the link from Electrek in the description of this video for you to see. Tesla is expected to beat its previous US delivery record by a significant margin in the United States and globally. The last record was achieved last quarter with over 343,000 vehicles in the United States and quarterly. In quarter 4 2022, Tesla is expected to deliver over 400,000 vehicles thanks to increased production capacity and a decent number of vehicles in transit at the end of the last quarter. Some Tesla observers think Tesla is likely going to be around 420,000 deliveries for quarter 4 2022. I believe Elon Musk has also spoken about this number. This would put Tesla at over 1.3 million deliveries in 2022, or about 39% growth versus the previous year. That's not exactly the 50% rate Tesla has been aiming for, but it is still undeniably impressive in the current auto market compared to other brands. The problem for Tesla is that a significant number of those 420,000 vehicles have been heavily discounted this quarter. Tesla has industry-leading gross margin that enables it to absorb those discounts profitably, but it's still going to be affecting its bottom line kind of in a bad way. I don't know. Now in the United States, the government is going to cover these discounts in the US at least starting next quarter. It will be interesting to see how Tesla fares in the rest of the world in 2023 with a lot more production capacity. But remember that this year, several times Tesla has also increased the price of its Model Y and Model 3 vehicles, so Tesla has some leverage for that. This is Armen Harian for torquenews.com. Please subscribe to this channel for daily Tesla and electric vehicle news, and give us thumbs up if you like this record, share in social media, and I would appreciate your support and help. God bless you, and I'll see you soon next time.